We can say that the revolution of arts is crossed by two red wires. The first concern the playful relationship established with the art technology, and also the opposite, according to the social and political environment related to use of technology. Your theory is that the proper use of the digital artifact would bring about a revolution in social, political, and true. The inherent obstacle is that this revolution herald the removal of hierarchical organization in the name of newborn networking organization, self-organized and designed by the continuous action of hell their node, where the force is in the weakness and the action of emerging system. The dynamic of media, the virtual digital imaging project light to the shore of the art system and its liminal space imaginary analyzing it is in its of peculiar dynamic communication performative following a break look on the cyberspace and its logic to follow her reasoning and your subsequent argument. First, it is useful to specify the particular significance that we attach to the term tools is often worn by the term too common truth, the latter used to draw roughly the era of digital in which we live. Other times it is multiple meaning of concept path forward by taking to aforementioned term which lead used hand on this first trip. Do not hesitate to proceed to understand each other better. Multimedia definition and problem begin appropriate is the meaning of the term multimedia. We deduce free multimedia encyclopedia Wikipedia. There we read multimedia is the coexistence and interaction of multiple media in a single support or information context. It comes to multimedia, especially in information technology, when the communicate information about something we make use of many media, he means of mass communication, different moving image, video, still image, picture, music and text. From this definition, it is easy to see that the idea of multimedia requires the integration of textual code, graphic, music, audio, visual, photographic, and when out tactile specific of each media call in the question. On the other and this has not been possible until the departure of the digitation process of the date, which has made possible the transposition and the conversion of the information in the single metamedium technology, the computer. The basic of the concept is therefore undisputed fluidity, transcoding, and navigation media themselves. The idea of multimedia, however, preceded and anticipated the digital revolution that has made operational. The term was born in the IT when not yet trigger the real change, become a meeting between industrial and artistic experimentation, concentrated but in the seeking to amalgamate into one offer image, sound, codes, using the destructive technology. The question of terminology is, however, much more complex than you may imagine. Now well aware of the term multimedia and the resulting trivialization of its meaning, but we cannot overlook the peculiar ambiguity in the expression. In fact, the prefix multi may evoke the idea of multiplication as changing to a order of cadence. The sum does not change. In this basic formulation, we see a dangerous multiplicity and differentiate, not helpful to your discussion. For this reason, along the most diverse scholars have fought for a renewal of the term, offering varied and interesting nuance. Among the tasks important, there is the beard of the term intermediate, whose beard can be found in the text intermediate by Richard Higgins. It is also the name of the software created by Landau for editing hypertext, in which the prefix inter communicated the absence of hierarchy between the media, which retain their own peculiarities in this dialogue. The opposite, therefore, that which express the term multi, more suited to a culture accustomed to graduate and classify its manifestation. Next to inter has been linked in the concept of code that fit in study on language as the 60s continued in the following decade. Semiotics such as Barthes and Eco 6 to analyze work of art media with the same tools of semiotic. Both world develop its own system of rules, the code, which specify the characteristic of expression, which is why the new performing art simultaneously using more language your world create an interface code, stopping at the newborn voice of using triggered by transcoding digital is a must to mention the disquisition of Pierre Levy. On the other hand, this lead used to consider that talking about multimedia is like to dwell exclusively on the form of representation rather than how to communicate and use that underpin the new media. He coined the term unimedia to name the merging of separate media into a single integrated digital network, apparently opposite to multimedia. The world we still wants to represent the culmination of its development, when the dialogue between media convergence is accomplished in a single standard, the digital one. All this demonstrates that the current media system has a high consistency and coherence given by sharing roles, morphostructural and performing very similar, being able to translate without substantial loss or information. Eventually, however, the term multimedia, but in the consciousness of its limits, maintain a collective recognition that make it a useful commonplace reference. So hell multimedia plurality synesthetic that look like a a mix of the three element. The artist becoming the father of the integration of arts form before video poetry, video art, video installation, and the mother in the emergence of new type of art, net art, computer art, hacker art, software art. On the other hand, the Get Media was the highest aspiration of the art system by turning a point in Western thought between the late 18th and early 19th century. The utopian synthesis of the arts branches for a decade from the romantic to the historical avant-garde, but after all, it is here that we want to draw a historical path of its evolution. Later, we will try to trace the genealogy of this utopia, but did not expect to draw a historical continuum, but choosing artists explain of this decade that most intrigued us. For the moment, we are interested only expansions of the indissoluble bond that exists between art and digital media as its ultimate goal and evolution. The synthesis of digital text, image or sound in the single metamedium, independent of the original support, become a device marked the revolution in the relationship between art, technology, and communication. The first revolution was the reproducibility of the technique, prints, photography, and cinema, described by Walter Benjamin in the third. The second revolution is made the transmission and remote technical reproducibility, live telegraph, telephone, radio, and television, study in its psychological and social effect by Marshall McLuhan in the year 6. The third revolution, introduced at the end and the 20th century, is precisely what some have called, to paraphrase Benjamin, of digital reproduction, and that we prefer to define the summer connecting digital computer network. What we will assume in the course of our disquisition is that we are at the dawn of our revolution, marked this time by the biocybernetic, where the real and undisputed protagonist in the entity language. On the other hand, it is too early in this first chapter jumping to conclusion, and for this reason we prefer to raise a little suspense. What's interests you for the moment is to understand that the transition from electronic analog to digital, with the consequent transformation of the artist language, and could produce remedy interaction between technology, media, interaction between artist, language, and their respective field, sensory learning, and mutual transformation of the two preceding elements. The making media has radical transformed the conclusion language, and